Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to change the circles. I always change back to rectangles because stuff doesn't like change. But welcome, everyone. We are back for our monthly top 10 lists. And for those who are new, these are entirely subjective. I'm going to be off camera for this evening. No April Fool's stream. But the fact that you mentioned it's April Fool's, two things I'm going to add to say about April Fool's. One, I don't believe a damn fucking thing anybody says today, basically. So starting tomorrow, if anything that's said today holds water, then I might start saying, oh, there's some credence to what is said today. Otherwise, I'm saying off of social media and saying I don't fucking buy anything that anyone is selling today.
I actually got Teresa because I usually get people because it's online because it's I'm 6 hours ahead, right? So I can, but it's April 2nd here now, so I'm not gonna trick anyone.
Yeah. So it is, and I am also not going to ignore the fact that my birth month starts with a day with "fool" in the name. It's basically a day dedicated so people can do stupid shit. Plus people. Okay, this is my little rant. Some people don't understand the concept of April Fool's Day, meaning that you're not supposed to say something that's obviously outlandish. You're not. You need to say something that at least has a nugget of potential truth in it, that it will leave some doubt for the person. That's what you're supposed to do. But then I see on Twitter going such outlandish shit, and I'm like, okay, if you buy that, then I got bridges I gotta sell you.
I got Teresa in Sporking's group chat for the Game of Thrones stuff. I said, so I guess in a few weeks we'll be doing a stream about the second Fire and Blood book because given the announcement, I'm guessing everyone's going to be reading it right away. I didn't say anything else, and then a few hours later, it's like motherfucker or something. Teresa had been Googling it.
I know, that's what you said. You have to say something that has at least a potential truth to it.
Yeah.
Like for example, I don't know if there's truth to what Soul Assassin put into the chat about Rob Zombie doing a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but there's potential for truth there because he's done Halloween remakes, so and the Monsters. So there's at least a grain of potential truth in that. So, but anyway, that's unfortunately not a prank. Stephen Colbert is tied to writing a new Lord of the Rings movie.
It's stunning. They just do the dumbest shit imaginable. The one thing nobody wants.
Yeah,
that's
pretty much.
What they go for.
Yeah, pretty much. And we'll get in. I'll say hello to the chat, and then we'll get into and after Stig does his intro. After I say this, Talk Nerdy to us will be on my channel Sunday evening, and I plan to how do I put this? Tear a new one into that story about Stephen Colbert writing a Lord of the Rings movie, as well as excoriate and basically verbally whip, I should say. Jack, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't give a shit. The one that said that Lord of the Rings is overtly pagan.
Yeah, Posobiec.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about how his name is pronounced. I don't care enough about him to learn how to pronounce his last name. But that dipwad, I'm going to rake over the proverbial coals this Sunday.
Yeah. Also, the Stephen Colbert's son is supposedly writing the script, and everyone's Peter Jackson fine with it and all. The guy has almost no credits, so who the hell would put him in with a big franchise? So money has to have exchanged hands with this.
So, and
this is not natural or organic.
Nope. And Nope, not like to be fair, you always have to start somewhere, but at the same time, it's like when like generally that's like small endeavors, TV episodes, things like that, just to get your name out there and like start doing a resume of your work, not a fucking Lord of the Rings movie.
The only thing though that's remotely pagan about Tolkien's work is the fact that Gandalf is loosely based on Odin.
Loosely, I mean, like it's more or less inspired by the looks than anything.
Yeah, plus he
Directly tied to
wanders. Plus he wanders the world.
Yeah, I'm saying but it's like loosely based. It's not like he's a 1-to-1 ratio of Odin.
Yeah.
It's more or less like
inspired by is better than based on. I guess.
So I'm going. So basically, I am going to beat to a pulp verbally, Jackie Boy, this coming Sunday. Anyway, but before I say hello to the chat, because that was like almost 7 minutes of me ranting and about April Fool's Day and morons. Stieg, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Right here once per month, and sometimes on Teresa's channel. This month we will be doing another one of our Western streams, and Teresa picked the movie for this month, and it is The Searchers with John Wayne, a classic. So that's what we're going to be.
I think I've seen parts of that, but not like fully through.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to join us for that discussion, go watch The Searchers for the 10th time or the first time and join us. Not sure when it is though.
Run fast, run far, Trey. Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 did not make my list. Although to be fair to it is, I would say, arguably better than the first one, but I'm going off of the stuff I can see, because everything else in that movie, it's shot in the dark, and I have no fucking idea what's happening in the scene.
Kind of like AVP 2.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like what am I supposed to be looking at here?
Yeah. Oh, something scary in the dark. What is it?
Yeah, it's like I'd like to be scared. I'd like to be scared, but I can't be scared because I can't see what's going on. Like I said, it's marginally better than the first one. And that's primarily because it's like at least like past the whole bullshit with making his family white trash sort of scenario, which I did not like in the first movie. I did not like anything that even remotely gave an explanation to why Michael Myers was the way he was.
No, it was never needed. He was just supposed to be the boogeyman.
Pretty much. Anthony, hello. And there's Stieg in the chat. Sharkbait Bully, hello. Soul Assassin, hello. Let's see. Shaka Zulu, yeah. It can be fun, but then like people go way overboard, and like I said, they say the most outlandish stuff, and then wonder why people don't buy it. I'm like, that's not how April Fool's Day works. Basically, my dad was a pro at it, like I said, because he taught me, have a nugget of truth in there, potential truth in there to make people go, wait a minute, and like what Teresa did, like wait a minute, like Google search it.
Yep.
Like, oh, I fell for it. That's how you do April Fools.
I got sporking with the same thing almost last year.
Yeah.
And he was like an hour later, he was still asking me, you have a link. Where is it? Like, there is.
Yeah, I'm saying so people are doing that where it's like, see, that would have, I would believe, a nugget of truth in that, because Warner Brothers is run by retards. And Peter Jackson is right up there with them. Yeah. So that would be a nugget of truth. I could see people buying into that, but then like you pointing out, that's fake. So
I'm thinking the reason why the Lord of the Rings trilogy ended up as well as it did had a lot to do with Christopher Lee. And
definitely had just about everything to do with Christopher Lee and Tom Shipley.
And also John Rhys Davis apparently had been putting his foot down a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like, so people were like, oh yes, at least Peter Jackson's back. I'm like, motherfucker, he would have ruined Lord of the Rings if not for these three.
Has he done anything great since the Lord of the Rings?
No. Hobbit
No.
was mediocre at best.
Yeah.
It went way downhill after the first movie. The only thing that the first movie was at least relatively close to the tone of the book,
Yeah.
and then just went downhill after that. So it's mediocre at best. War of the Rohirrim, that was in theaters and out just about the same week almost, it felt like, because no one wanted to go see it. No one wanted that movie. Rings of Power, that's Amazon, but still, it doesn't help the IP. And now you have the Hunt for Gollum movie, and that no one wants because it's based on few pages of text.
Remember that clip of Peter Jackson saying he was hoping Tolkien was looking back at him and approving?
There's no way Tolkien would have approved this.
No, which means it was full of shit back then.
Yeah. So people were like, at least at least it's not Amazon. Well, just because one is less shit does not make it better.
No, I've lost respect for Peter Jackson after this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's War of the Rohirrim, and then the Hunt for Gollum, and now this with Colbert. That's 3 strikes.
Yeah. Whatever respect they would have had for him is gone out the window. The only thing he got right with Lord of the Rings was putting his foot down, and because studios wanted it to be 1 movie or 2 movies, and he's like, no, it has to be 3. So I'll give him that respect. He put his foot down,
No. Here's the thing. I think it was the guy who owned New Line Cinema had been shown footage.
I know, but Peter Jackson held out until someone was smart enough to realize that. And he's like, it needs to be 3 movies. So that's why I said I will give credit where credit's due. So it's not so he was, putting it out there that he wanted to do a Lord of the Rings movie, but then studios are coming back with that stuff, which would have forced him to cut out a lot of stuff. So he held out until New Line Cinema stepped in and said, it needs to be 3 movies. You're right.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So at least give him that credit. After that, no.
Well, the plot too. You have what is it? Sam's daughter discovers something way back that could have ended, the War of the Ring early, right?
Yeah.
So okay, let's say she finds that out and asks Sam, Merry, and Pippin, "Hey, could this have ended the war early?" And then they go, "Yeah."
Yeah. End of movie.
Yeah, in the movie. What's the point?
Pretty much. But the point is to fill it up with superfluous, I don't want to call it superfluous, but basically filler of chapters that weren't in the Lord of the Rings movies, namely say Tom Bombadil and things like that. And I'm like, well, I'm actually fine with Tom Bombadil not being necessarily in the movie. At least to the point where it's, because if he's able to, just throw the one ring around like it's nothing, it kind of loses weight.
Yeah, I actually thought he was a bit off in the books too, to be honest.
I would be fine with him being his presence there as a means of expanding on Middle Earth lore, and him able to maybe guide the hobbits because he knows at least something about the One Ring since he's been around since forever. He's called the eldest. But whenever he's juggling the ring, I was like, you kind of lose the weight that the One Ring is supposed to have.
Yeah, so. And even Tolkien said Bombadil does not fit the story, and he said he didn't care. He wanted him in there anyway.
So as I say, there's really no point in having. Now, what I would have liked to have seen, I'm not saying I want to see the Colbert movie just to see this, but the Barrow Downs and the Barrow Wights, true Barrow Downs and Barrow Wights, that would have been nice to see. I would have liked to have seen that, but what are you going to do? Anyway, at least Peter Jackson with Christopher Lee would have gotten that right, unlike Rings of Power.
Yeah.
So, but rant done. Moving forward, Anthony, Soul Assassin, and okay. So if I miss anyone, I do apologize. We just got to move forward with this, Mr. Grimm, as well. Thank you so much for being here. So even though I make Steve do this, even though he doesn't want to, he rolls a d20. I guess the range to see who goes first.
Okay, 1 to 10 or 11 to 20.
I'm feeling 11 to 20.
Oh, oh, 13. I thought it said 3, so I was like, oh.
Oh, and then
And
oh.
then, no.
Oh. Anyway, okay. So my number 10 is a full-on guilty pleasure movie. I kind of doubt most of you have seen this in the chat. If you have, you probably was a one and done experience. It's actually not a bad slasher film. It's kind of dated with like some of the dialogue and things like that. But objectively not as good as other slasher films. But like guilty pleasure for me. I do like watching it. And that is Sorority Row.
Oh, I've seen it. I think it's a remake.
It might be a remake. I'm saying this is like at least the version of 2009. So even if it
Carrie Fisher as a cameo, right?
I would say a bit more than a cameo, a small role, basically. But Carrie Fisher's in it. She has a small role. It's a slasher movie. It is pretty much a run-of-the-mill slasher, premise where these sorority girls are trying. Basically, their plan is to prank this one guy, and things go wrong, and one girl ends up dead. And so, rather than go to the authorities, as want to do in slasher movies, basically let's hide the body and pretend, pretend that this girl left. We haven't seen her since she left this party, and she's missing, basically. And basically, I don't want to say the pact of sisterhood, basically, but their sorority house, their tenets are like trust, honor, respect, secrecy, and solidarity. So they go the secrecy and secrecy parts, by hiding the body and pretending that they don't know anything about what happened to this girl. Fast forward, I think it starts about fall time frame at the beginning of the movie, and then fast forward so many months later, where their class is graduating college. So it's basically just literally the last day of school, university. And shocker, those who know what happened, those who are tied to the disappearance of the girl, start dying. Is there any slasher I haven't seen knowingly? Probably not.
I know 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cold Prey. It's a trilogy. Norwegian slashers.
Well, I'm saying outside of America, probably not. Probably there's these slashers I've seen at least once.
You would like Cold Prey, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not bad.
So, and I'll have to check it out. At least when I have a week, or at least time after, where I can relax with courses.
Amsterdamned.
No.
It's a Dutch slasher. Someone's basically a diver is grabbing people in the canals in Amsterdam.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's from late 80s.
Like the name, yeah. Amsterdam. But that's basically the premise of Sorority Row, where you have one of the girls, who the one she's not the only one necessarily, but she's the primary one, who wants to go to authorities, and she's kind of blackmailed into going along with hiding the body because the other girls kind of formed ranks, so to speak. So that way, if this one girl actually went to authorities, they would basically just pointed the finger at her. So she's stuck. Rumor Willis is in it. So that's Bruce Willis and one of Bruce Willis's and Demi Moore's daughter. She was kind of not, I would say, big around that time, but she was in several things around that time. The early to mid 2000s, before 2010 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she's in it as well. And that's pretty much the premise of the movie. So it's a slasher movie. There's really not much more in depth than that. Carrie Fisher has a small role in it. There is a character in it, one of the female characters in it, that I know would not fly today at all, because she literally makes a roofie joke in a positive light. So like, there's no way she like her character would have flown today. I don't mind. I mean, her character is supposed to be outlandish. Her character is supposed to like be that kind of like that almost tropey character, but like, it's like that like slasher-esque character that it's is like that. So yeah, pretty much that is Sorority Row. I don't want to say too much more because I might start revealing who done it. So if you haven't seen it and you want to take give it a watch, it's a guilty pleasure for me. Like I said, it's not the best slasher movie. It's certainly not the worst that I've seen. I think it's like better than most people give it credit for. But it's like one of those it's like just sit back, turn your brain off, and just be entertained, basically.
Yeah, and it's rewatchable. And I noticed this year had a lot of these guilty pleasure rewatchables, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. So I'm fine with it. Like I said, it's on Tubi. I'm pretty sure it's like elsewhere. You could probably find it, but I found it recently. I rewatched it on Tubi. So, but it's I watched it about the time that it came out. So, yeah, Sorority Row is my number 10.
Yeah, my number 10 is kind of an under the radar movie action. It's called Ninja Assassin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a straight up ninja movie, and it's done incredibly well. And they also have an Asian playing the ninja this time instead of a white guy having been raised by ninjas, right? Which tends to be the case of most ninja movies, But this, no, it's an Asian. And you get the background story and how he was treated during training and what happened to make him, break free of the clan.
Mm-hmm.
And Naomi Harris is in there. She plays a journalist or some kind of thing that's basically snooping around, learning, almost like April O'Neil,
Mm-hmm.
right? And superb fight scenes in it. It's bloody as hell, and everything you'd want in a ninja movie, I think. Very much under the radar. And there was another movie called Ninja that came out the same year with Scott Adkins. This one is superior.
All right.
Yeah, Mr. Grimm is right. It's the closest thing to a live action Ninja Gaiden movie you'll get. It just did everything right. And not that, it's a 10 out of 10 or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to watch a ninja movie, there you go.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. And my number 9, I think maybe might be on your list. It's a comedy called Fanboys.
Yes, it is on my list.
Yeah. Basically, 4 friends unite after a long time, and I think it's 10 years, and they learn one of them is dying. And these are Star Wars fans.
That's what I was not going to reveal to people.
Well, they learn it early.
I know, but at the same time, people haven't seen it. It's like, because you watch trailers, and I don't think they kind of like mention that.
Oh.
So.
Well, they decide
to... spoiler alert, yeah.
Yeah, they decide to break into Skywalker Ranch and steal a copy of Star Wars Episode 1. So their friend can get to watch it before, it passes.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of cameos in this. William Shatner,
mm-hmm.
Billy D. Williams,
Carrie Fisher.
Seth Rogen is awesome in this.
One of the few roles where it's like he's like a bit more than tolerable because he plays 2 roles.
Yeah, he plays a hillbilly Star Wars fan and a Trekkie.
Yes,
a Trekkie with asthma whom they fight.
Yeah,
on the lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically it's a road trip movie. Them trying to get to Skywalker Ranch.
Mm.
Oh, also the security guard at Skywalker Ranch is Ray Park.
Yeah. So basically, it's kind of like there's member berries, but like in a good way, kind of member berries in this movie. So it's like, no, they're not Disney shills, Mr. Grimm. This is like set before the release of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And so because the one is most likely not going to make it until the film is released, they take it upon themselves, like it's history fans, to go, yeah, let's just drive all the way to Skywalker Ranch and just break in and steal a copy. So you can watch it, and yeah.
And William Shatner gives them the floor plans for Skywalker Ranch. He's their contact.
Yeah, which I love.
Yeah. Oh, and Seth, the Seth Rogen, one of the characters, has like a tattoo of Jar Jar Binks because they've seen the trailer or something. And he's like, I guarantee you, this character is gonna be the shit. He's gonna be awesome.
That's Seth Rogen as the hillbilly Star Wars fan. He has the Jar Jar Binks tattoo.
This is just like a fun movie. It could be done with any fandoms, really. But the way they did it, it just worked. I thought it was great.
So,
is it a 10 out of 10? No, it isn't. But it's very rewatchable and fun, and just shut your brain off. And yeah.
I think still, even 10 years after the release of the movie, because I'm saying, when I say member berries, I'm not saying like around the time it was released. I mean kind of like, like the small, like seeing the small roles, like, cameos of William Shatner and Carrie Fisher, and so forth, basically to kind of like, pull at the heartstrings a little bit while you're watching this movie, not just with the one character who's not going to make it.
It's not necessarily member berries.
So
I think
I say that loosely, basically, but I'm saying it's more or less kind of like, it's there's Ray Park, there's Carrie Fisher, there's there's one scene, spoiler alert, there's one scene like between Carrie Fisher and one of the characters where like he like not when I say not genuinely, I mean it's more or less like you'd have to watch the scene to understand the context, but he says I love you and she says I know. So Star Wars fans are like, oh, I know that reference. Like the Captain America scene in Avengers. I know that. I understood that reference.
Yeah, but it wasn't in there to sell the movie.
No, I'm saying it's like little things like that where it's kind of like, kind of like to invoke positive memories of being a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
This is definitely pre-Disney, so it's like, you have, I don't think, any problem watching this movie. Even if you're checked out of Star Wars, I would still watch it even though I'm checked out.
Yeah, because it's it's comedy first, not Star Wars fandom first. Because like I said, this could have easily been done, with Star Trek fans or Tolkien fans.
Yeah, easily. It's like the love of the property first.
Yeah,
and these guys just happen to be fans of that property.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm saying like it's like one of those like movies where it's like cameos without it being in your face.
Yeah.
So
it's balanced perfectly.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite parts is when because the Seth Rogen as the Trekkie calls Han Solo a bitch. Yeah. And then when Seth Rogen as a Trekkie meets hillbilly Star Wars fan Seth Rogen, and the Star Wars fan Seth Rogen, and the hillbilly one hears what the Trekkie one called, and they get into a fight. It's actually kind of.
Oh, and one of the characters, when they're in jail, doesn't want to use the toilet. And there's no toilet paper, and he doesn't want to sit on the seat, so he takes the sandwiches they're given.
Yeah, puts it on the seat. Yeah, he has to really go. He doesn't want to touch the seat.
Yeah, so he's sitting on that, and then the cop walks in, and it's just not right what you did to that sandwich, boy.
Yeah, like in my van, it's rush, all the time.
Yeah. Oh, their van even has a little R2 thing at the top.
Yeah, and he tells the one guy to punch it for the nitrous he has to get the van to
Yeah.
like go at um in hyperspace essentially,
Yeah.
and he goes punch it, like little things like that. It's just one of those where it's like it's a fun movie to watch.
Yeah. Lots of
Um,
heart.
But I'll be talking about it again a little bit when we get to it on my list. It is on my list also. So
Yeah. But it's your turn with number 9.
yeah, my number 9 is another horror movie. This one I know for sure is a remake, and I would say is a hot take. Is better than the original. One of the few instances where I believe the remake is better than the original.
It's my number 2.
My Bloody Valentine.
No,
Okay.
I thought it was Friday the 13th we're talking about.
Nope.
Sorry, spoiled my number 2.
So I would give that. I would give he spoiled his own number 2. Instead of waiting for me to say what the movie was.
Phrasing. as well.
But I would anyway. Moving on. But I would say the Friday the 13th remake is arguably better than the original Friday the 13th. Because it really doesn't become like Friday the 13th, the slasher franchise we know until the second one.
No.
Anyway, but this one is, I believe, also better than the original. The original itself is not bad. Like, it's not horrible, but it's nowhere near great. It's one of those movies where it's like, sit back and I might pay attention to it kind of a thing. Certain things in the movie and the original didn't quite make sense. So that's why I believe that the remake is better. Is it great? No. But with Sorority Row, it is one of my guilty pleasures. It's fun to watch, in my opinion, for a slasher movie, basically. Stars Jensen Ackles, Kerr Smith, what's her name? Jamie King. Well, I gotta look up one actor's name. Just give me just a minute. Tom Atkins is in it, and so forth, basically. And the premise is basically this is early on in the movie, so it's not like it's like spoilers, basically. But a mine collapse happens, which traps these miners, and the tragic instance itself is caused by essentially and blamed on the son of the man who owns the mine. The son is played by Jensen Ackles. And what's the character's name? The miner who's basically pulled out of the rubble, who basically just has a full-on mental break, full-on psychotic break, and slaughters all the people, all these people in this hospital. I reviewed the original movie and the remake. So if you want to go into, if you don't care about spoilers and you want to, get our opinions on both the original and the remake on my channel, I think February last year, because it was the 1s and 2s. So I'm not gonna lie that he's easy on the eyes, basically. All right, but the miner has a full psychotic break, slaughters these people in the hospital, and is himself killed. You don't see it, but it's basically I think you do see it, yeah. Because he goes after these kids, these teenagers who are basically hanging out at the mine area, basically, to include Jensen Ackles' character. So he's going after those kids because, again, he's full on crazy, and is himself, we think is killed. Fast forward so many years, Jensen Ackles, his character, returns after going away for a while. His ex-girlfriend has married Kerr Smith's character. I wouldn't call them friends or anything like that, basically, but she's married his character. He's the sheriff of this town. He's having an affair, and then these killings start to happen. So it's and the speculation is the original killer back? Was he actually killed, or what's going on? Is it a spirit? What's happening? and I think it shows a mental break in characters better than the original did. So
Also, a shout out to Tom Atkins, who's a horror legend, really.
yeah, so he plays the former sheriff. Like at the beginning of the movie, he is the sheriff, and like when you have that, like, fast forward in time, basically to present day, essentially, he's retired. And so it's like I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to. If you've seen the original, you know what's going to like what the reveal is going to be in the remake. If you haven't seen the original and you haven't seen the remake, then I don't want to spoil anything potentially that could at all go into the reveal in this movie, basically.
Yeah,
So
also, Tom Atkins is 90 now.
Yeah. So
and still has 2 upcoming movies.
Yeah, if he can still do it, he can still do it. More power to him. Yeah, but like I said, it's like kind of like with Sorority Row. Is it objectively great film? No. Is it horrible? No. I think it's better than the original by leagues in some instances with the remake. But it's like a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I like the kills, and so my number 9 is My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, that's a good pickaxe.
And not quite.
No, he uses mining equipment, doesn't he?
Well, he does use a pickaxe basically in one scene, or he does have one. But like the way you try to do the play on words, not
no,
quite.
it was horrible.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
intentionally so.
But anyway, my number 8 is a stop motion film. I guess you would kind of call it a horror movie for kids. But I like it because it's like creepy, and some parts are a little unnerving even for a kids movie. And that is Coraline.
Never seen it. I've almost seen it many times, but just never did.
Yeah, so I think it's worth at least one watch. My sister-in-law absolutely loves it. I enjoy it. I guess I basically had to put it on my top 10 list because if it's on, I'll sit down and watch it. It's based on a not a short story, but a little bit longer than a short story by Neil Gaiman. Basically, stop motion animated fantasy horror film. Basically, so
he is so canceled now.
I know,
really bad.
So anyway, and like basically, long story short, like his novella was adapted for this film, as the voice acting of Dakota Fanning, Terry Hatcher, Ian McShane, Jennifer Saunders, and Dawn French, to name a few. Keith David also has a voice in this film, and basically Dakota Fanning voices Coraline. She's about 11, 12 years old, and she moves to this old Victorian house with her parents. And it's one of those movies where it's like, it's kind of like be careful what you wish for kind of a premise, because she's not happy like with like the life she's leading. Essentially, she doesn't like the fact that they moved. Her parents don't exactly pay attention to her, things like that, and so this world opens up for her, which on the surface looks like an idealized version of the world she would prefer to live in, but there's something underlying where it's like, yes, be careful what you wish for, because what you think is better might not be so. And don't want to go too much into it because you haven't seen it, but that's the premise. That is the premise. So it is a solid movie. It's a stop motion animated film, but it's like I'm not saying you particularly, Stig. I'm just saying you in general. But I feel like you can look past that. It is a solid premise. It is a solid story. The voice acting is really good.
I don't like stop motion. Sorry, I don't mind it.
No, I'm saying like you in general. When I'm saying this phrase, I said I'm not speaking specifically to you. I'm saying
Yeah.
if you can look past the fact that it's stop motion animation, the story itself is solid. The voice acting is really good. There is that creepiness based on how the figures look and so forth. It is a little bit unnerving at times, but it's one of those movies that does, again, I call it like a horror movie for kids. And like an actual horror movie for kids. I'm not talking not Monster Squad or anything like that, where it's geared towards kids. I'm like more or less like, hey, here is an actual unnerving premise, all right, which is a little bit more geared towards kids, but adults can enjoy it too. So, when did Box Trolls come out? That's not a horror movie, but that's another stop motion movie that I think is not given, is overlooked in a little bit. I can't remember when it came out. I know it was after Coraline, but I can't remember when it came out. Anyway, Coraline is my number 8.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to do 8 and 7, right?
Yes.
Well, it looks like there's like a horror movie galore today. I have at number 8, I have Drag Me to Hell.
That I've seen. It is not on my list, and there's a big reason why I don't rewatch that movie.
The cat.
Yes.
Yeah, because I actually rewatched it the other day, and when I watched it, I said, okay, this is not going to be on Mara's list.
Yes.
Because she
right.
kills the shit out of that cat.
I know, and I cannot stand that. Like you literally could have removed that aspect of the movie.
Yeah. Well, this is the first. I think they made a big deal about it. It was the first time since Army of Darkness that Sam Raimi was directing a horror movie.
Yeah,
and it's a one-off. I'm actually surprised this didn't get sequels because I think it's awesome.
Outside, like the one thing that's keeping me from rewatching it, the movie itself is actually solid, but I'm fine with it being a one-off.
Yeah, basically, the leading lady is working at a bank. She wants a promotion. Gypsy lady shows up, wants a third extension on her loan or whatever it is, and the bank lady is told to deal with it, and she wants the promotion, so she says no. The gypsy lady then proceeds to say that you shamed me, right? Which she kind of didn't, and then the gypsy lady curses her. And turns out, yeah, like that curse is pretty damn real. And something starts kind of stalking the leading lady, and she needs to figure out what it is and how to deal with it. It's a Sam Raimi movie, so you see a lot of gross stuff, like really gross in this. And I'm thinking the actress earned her money because she gets most of it. It's nasty, but so entertaining.
You're talking about the gypsy woman or the young actress?
The young actress, because she's the one who gets all the gross shit on her.
Yeah.
And she does a terrific job. She's awesome.
Like I said, again, just that one part where it's like you could have removed it and not changed anything.
Yeah.
The premise, like that's one thing that's keeping me from rewatching it. I cannot stand watching that part.
Yeah. Or they could have had the cat be possessed or something.
Even then, just again, remove the cat. I'm saying like all this shit's happening to her.
Yeah.
And like you could have removed that element, and it would have changed like very little. And I mean, the only thing that would have changed was like what she had, like the innocent life element, and then you could have just removed that.
Yeah, but I guess it also showcased how desperate she was getting. But did it need to be there? No.
That's what I call gratuitous violence, chats, for those who do not know me. So if it can be removed easily, it's gratuitous. And like you could easily could have shown desperation other ways. And I'm just coming from the perspective of the fact that I used to write stories while I was in school. So I was like, if you can remove something and it changes nothing, for me learning how to be an editor, then it's superfluous.
Yeah, because if you This also goes for characters. If it serves no purpose, it's
Mhm.
just taking screen time away from the stuff that matters.
Yes.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
my number 8 was Drag Me to Hell. If people
Mhm.
haven't seen it, watch it. It's awesome.
See, the thing is, no. In a sense, no. I get where you're coming from with that. All right. But you can't have a slasher movie without violence. Then it wouldn't be a slasher movie. So no, it's not gratuitous violence. If you were to remove the violence, then it's not a slasher movie. But if you can remove something and not change the premise, then that's gratuitous. It means it's just there for shock value.
Yeah.
So no, slashers aren't inherently gratuitous violence because you can't have a slasher movie without violence.
Yeah. Basically, it's just like unnecessary just for shock value.
Yeah.
Which, is pretty much Game of Thrones season 5, 6, 7, and 8.
I'll believe you. I didn't watch Game of Thrones. So
No,
I'll believe you
it just turned into. Oh, that's what it turned into. It has nothing to do with the books after season 4.
Kind of like became the same thing in a sense with Walking Dead, where it's like it was just shock value to not so much that it like necessarily deviated from like the source material itself, but it was more or less like let's make people think this character is dead, and things like that, and just like having deaths for the sake of deaths, basically.
Yeah, it was basically just wow moments and shocking death scenes.
Yeah,
and it had nothing to do with the source material at that point, but it also contradicted completely season 1, 2, 3, 4.
I believe
so it was just a miss.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, my number 8 was Drag Me to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
My number 7.
One part, it's a solid movie, but go ahead. Number 7.
Yeah, my number 7 is Underworld 3.
Did not make my list. I had to narrow it down from 57 movies.
Yeah.
That I've seen from 2009, down to 10.
Yeah.
So,
Underworld 3 is it's a prequel. Takes place in the Dark Ages, so you get to see vampires in full plate and stuff, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it explains the start of the vampire and werewolf conflict.
Yeah, the war between Lycans and vampires, but it's primarily told from the Lycan perspective.
Yeah, because they were used as slaves.
Yes, and also slaves / guardians for the vampires during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's also a love story because the main vampire falls in love with, or is in love with, Victor the vampire's daughter.
You said main vampire. The main Lycan is in love with Victor's daughter.
Yeah. Played by, what is it, Rona Mitra? Who is
an
awesome actress, actually.
Yeah, she actually looks really close to the you could see how Victor would look at Kate Beckinsale's character and see his daughter.
Yeah. And this movie is partially spoiled by Underworld 2 that came before because there's flashbacks in it.
Yes.
Right. So you could argue that this movie wasn't needed, but I thought it was great. It was awesome. It's really campy.
It's like the last, I would say, decent to good outing in that franchise. And then after that, it's like maybe subjectively you would like the ones after that, but as far as solid films, it's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. This one is definitely solid, but it's also almost too short. But yeah, but I liked it, and I keep rewatching 1, 2, and 3. So given that I rewatched them so much, I had to put it in there. I had room for it, right?
Yeah. So
Underworld 3, vampires versus werewolves. It's just fun.
So it's not really a thinking movie. It's more or less like it's vampires versus Lycans.
Yeah, the first one was more of a thinking movie because it had more complex plot.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one was more like Terminator because you have a big bad vampire chasing them all through the movie.
Pretty much, yeah.
And this is a prequel, and
Yeah.
prequel done, well. It's not fantastic, but it's done well. Doesn't do any
Yeah.
harm or
No.
you
So, but anyway, that's your number 8, right? Or 7? That's your number 7.
No, I finished my number 7, so you're to do 7 and
Okay,
6.
yeah, I was gonna say yeah. So my number 7 is a comedy. Really, is of the trilogy, it's the only one you really need to watch because the second one is pretty much almost a beat for beat remake of the first one, and then the third one they attempted something different, but it really didn't land, in my opinion. Hey, Jody, and that is The Hangover.
Almost made my list.
Yeah, I had to include it. I love it. I love the first one. It's the premise
fucked
itself
up.
is not exactly anything new, but it's like so well done because of the leads in the role, particularly Bradley Cooper, and so forth, basically. But like the premise, and like I said, look, just watch the first one. You don't need to watch the second one or the third one, because especially the second one, because it's a beat for beat remake, essentially, just set in Thailand of the first movie. But anyway, The Hangover. It's these four friends in a sense. Zach Galifianakis is playing the future brother-in-law of what's the actor's name? He was in the National Treasure movies. Played like the young guy who was helping Nicolas Cage. But anyway, he's the one getting married. Zach Galifianakis is like basically his future brother-in-law, and then Bradley Cooper and what's the actor's name? He's in The Office.
Steve Carell?
No. Ed. I'm like, I can see his face. You can see Ed Helms. Yeah, I believe so. Thank you, Golden Fox. But like they're the best friends of the guys getting married. Thank you, Ed Helms. Like I said, like Ed, something I could see the guy's face, and they're going to basically have a bachelor party in Las Vegas. All right, you see them basically making a toast. They're gonna have like a good time there, and then the next thing you see is they're waking up and they can't remember a thing about what happened the night before. Not a damn clue. And the guy who's getting married is missing. So these three guys have to piece together what happened the night before because it's all a blur to them, and so forth. Because they wake up and wake up not knowing where they are. There's a baby involved. It's like nothing bad happens to the baby, but they're wondering where this baby came from. Ken Jeong is in it, basically. Who incidentally, from what I've read, actually went to med school.
Yeah, he has worked as a doctor.
Yeah, he started doing stand-up comedy to help kind of like supplement paying for the med school, basically. So if you see him, like I think it Knocked Up, I believe he played a doctor. He knows what he's talking about. He actually went to med school and worked as a doctor before he kind of like broke into the entertainment industry.
He's also naturally funny because it's sort of a guy you could just stick him in front of you and have him stare at you.
Yeah,
and he looks so weird, fucked up kind of thing. So you'll just start laughing. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the show Community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's amazing in it.
Yeah, he's really funny in that.
He's evil.
And he was giving an interview one time, and he said like the scene where you first meet him, and he starts kind of like spouting off the dialect, so you can't understand what he's saying. He said his wife just gave him random words to say, so it sounded like he's like conversing in that language, but it's like just random shit that he's saying. So like if you were to actually translate it, it makes absolutely no sense. So Ken Jeong is your act. Like I said, like he was in the movie Knocked Up. It's one of the few roles, one that where I can tolerate Seth Rogen, mainly because it's an ensemble cast. But like I said, Ken Jeong plays an OBGYN in that movie, and so he basically knows what he's talking about. when
Yeah.
he's like, so it's like it was kind of wild finding that out about him. But anyway, that's pretty much the premise of The Hangover. Without going into too many details, it's more or less like trying to piece together the mystery of what happened the night before. Why are they waking up and not remembering anything that happened the night before? Where's the guy who's supposed to get married? And so forth. So it's kind of like a comedy, like a mystery of sorts, in basically a slapstick comedy with these three guys. And I think probably like Bradley Cooper is probably the best in it
and it's one of those movies that it just works.
Yeah.
And
like I say,
all the pieces fit together,
Yeah, it's like a one and done movie. It did not need sequels, in my opinion, and particularly did not need a sequel that was a direct ripoff of the first one the one that came before it. So
yeah, but that being said, I don't think anyone would feel they wasted their time watching these sequels because they're also still funny to watch.
I felt I wasted my time watching the second one because I was like, I could have just watched the first one again. It was literally the same premise.
It has that really twisted tranny scene, though.
I'm just saying it, but it's the same premise, literally beat for beat.
Oh yeah,
from the first one. I want something different. Like if you're gonna have I want something a little bit different than just, hey, we're gonna take these beats from the first movie and just put them in Thailand.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I felt I wasted my time. So third one, not so much. They did try something different in that essentially. But the second one, I think you skip the second one, just go right to the third one if you wanted to watch any of the sequels. That's just my opinion. Anyway, The Hangover is number 7. My number 6 is, how do I describe it? It's very much a social commentary in a sense. How do I describe it? I'm just gonna go right into it. Basically, it's District 9.
That one's great.
Yes.
It didn't make me list. I only watched it once, but it's awesome.
Yes. So it's basically it's described as a science fiction action film, but I would say it's more of a dystopian in a sense. When it comes to certain characters, science fiction movie basically. The stars Charlton Copley. All right, probably have seen him in things and not realize you're he's one of those characters actors where it's his face, but he might not remember his name. It is an alternate 1980s kind of early 80s history in a sense, where this alien spaceship has landed in Johannesburg, South Africa, and they're segregated. The aliens are segregated. They're sick. They're malnourished, and it's basically it is shown in a mockumentary style, but it's a commentary on South African government and so forth, and it's very much a commentary on the I should say African governments in general, essentially segregating certain demographics and so forth, and putting them into very undesirable horrid living conditions. Basically, I'll say, actually backtrack there. I'll say just out not just African governments, because you have parts of Brazil that's I would feel like I'm right out of District 9 essentially, Mexico and things like that, and areas where it's very much the human government has segregated these aliens into an internment camp called District 9 basically. And so Charlton, he's the weirdest fucking first name. His character he how is he going in to kind of check on the internment camp and things like that, and he's subsequently infected. And being infected, he starts transforming into one of the aliens. And
wasn't he also in the A-Team movie? Played Mad
Yeah,
Murdock?
yeah, he was in the A-Team. He, like I said, he's one of those actors where it's like you might not remember his name, but you remember his face.
Yeah, and he does an 11 out of 10 in this.
Yeah, so he's a very good actor. He's a very good actor. And so it flips it on its head. So now he's understanding from the aliens' perspective what's going on because of the discrimination the humans have towards the aliens. And I'm very much generalizing the plot. I don't want to say too much because it is very involved. It's not so involved that you can't understand what's going on, but there's so much going on within the premise that I don't want to go too deeply into it if you have not seen the movie, but it is a very good movie. So like it's like an American New Zealand film. The plot itself is set in South Africa and so forth. It is a commentary on basically governments and like certain demographics of people, but it's done well enough that it doesn't feel heavy-handed or like it doesn't feel like it's beating you over the head with what the commentary is. It's more or less like, here's this premise, boom, it's like okay, follow this guy and what's happening with him, sort of situation. And I had to include it because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, this is actually really damn good. It didn't. Yeah, it looked weird. It looked weird from the trailers, but it piqued my interest. And then I watched it, and I was like, "This is actually a really good movie." So,
I remember having no, hopes for it. Really, I was just, okay, I'll watch it. Right, I didn't have any thoughts on it or expectations, rather. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised about it, but maybe not as rewatchable as the other ones on our list.
No, but I had to include it because it's one of those, it's not exactly an original premise, but it's done so well that it feels like, yeah, that actually happened.
Yeah.
You feel like you're watching a documentary of what transpired in the early 80s in this Johannesburg internment camp for aliens.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel fake. Which I had to include, Neil Blomkamp was able to do that so well, and the acting was superb all around in this movie.
Makes it so annoying that he never got to do his Alien movie.
I know. Yeah, I know. So, like I said, I had to include it. I didn't really have any expectations for it either. It piqued my interest, but it was one of those where it's because my dad loved watching dystopian films. He loved those post-apocalyptic type films, especially the ones that created dystopias. That's one of his favorite premises to watch in films, and that's kind of what it felt like in a sense, to a degree, given the nature of how the aliens were living and so forth. That's what piqued my interest. But anyway, District 9. If you have not seen it, give it a watch. It's I believe worth the watch, and so forth. Yeah. So you start. So I. You do your 6. You do your 6, and then number 5.
So you've done.
District 9 was my number 6. So you do.
Yeah, and then you did The Hangover right before.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 6. Is action thriller starring Liam Neeson called Taken.
Not make my list. Like I said, I had to narrow it down from 57 movies.
Yeah. Basically, his daughter gets kidnapped. Turns out Liam Neeson is a former spy or something. I can't remember. And he starts.
Was that 2009? Hold on. Because I don't remember seeing that on the list.
Taken was 2009, wasn't it?
Hold on. Let me see. Well, let me look at the release dates on IMDb. Yeah, but for some reason it's not showing up on the Wikipedia page. That was 2000 in the United States. It was 2009.
Yeah, it had a limited release in 2008, so it's listed as 2008 and 2009.
Maybe it was on the 2008 one because of the limited release.
Could be.
I don't know. Because I was like, you
but-
say, I literally write my list off the Wikipedia page and then just
Yeah,
sing
it's
it.
one of those that it's both.
Mhm.
But
Oh, whatever. I'll accept it. I'm like, I don't know why
Yeah.
it wasn't on the Wikipedia page, but anyway, take
Yeah.
it. Okay.
it's why I don't have it on the last list, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, Taken, his daughter gets taken by human traffickers in Eastern. Well, she gets taken in, what is it, Paris or something?
Oh, I can't remember. Basically, just the premise is like she's kidnapped by traffickers, and and he's has certain skills.
Yeah, and he's not lying about that.
No.
He certainly does. And he tracks them down because he knows there's a time limit before she's never going to get found. Needs
Mhm.
to find her right away. And he deals with the bad guys. And there's also a corruption element in the police.
Mhm.
And Liam Neeson is a badass in this. Big time. He nails it. He's awesome. It had 2 sequels. I remember the second one being good. The third one was PG-13, which neutered the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because this is a franchise that should always be R-rated, because the violence is integral to the DNA of the story.
Kind of like
Right.
Expendables.
Yeah, and RoboCop.
Yeah.
But still, it's a tense movie and definitely worth a watch, worth a rewatch if you like it. But still not a 10 out of 10. But
Mhm.
I keep rewatching it, so it goes on my list.
Yep.
And number 5
Mhm.
is Watchmen.
All right. Did not make my list, but I've seen it. Like I said, I had to.
Yeah, it's
I
an
narrowed it down.
adaptation of a graphic novel, I
Yes.
believe,
Oh yeah, it is.
or a limited series of comics, whatever you want to call
It's
it.
more graphic. I think it's just one graphic novel. But it's yeah.
And, done by Zack Snyder, and he does it excellently, in my opinion. I remember having read the graphic novel, and from what I remember, this one follows it very well, closely. Great cast, Patrick Wilson and what's his name? Negan from Walking Dead.
Oh, Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah, him and Carla Gugino is in it.
Mhm.
Excellent soundtrack. Basically, there were superheroes back during the Vietnam War or whatever, and they've gotten older, and one of them gets murdered, and then there's actually a quite intricate plot as they figure out that something's off. The guy who plays Rorschach steals the show, in my opinion.
Oh, Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah.
He's an underrated actor.
Oh hell yes, he is great in this.
He was the best part of the only really good parts of the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street as Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, the problem with that one was the writing; it wasn't the actor.
No, I'm saying it's but the writing is what
Yeah,
was the bad part, not the only bad part about that movie, but he did what he could with the role, and he could have been a really good Freddy Krueger in a reboot if the script had been better.
So. Yeah, this one though shows that Zack Snyder is great when he adapts things, not necessarily when he comes up with stuff by himself.
Pretty much,
but he nailed it with this, and he also did 300, didn't he? Was it?
Yeah, he did 300, which is
yeah,
one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Watchmen. I can't talk too much about the plot because there are spoilers galore in this.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's why I try to avoid talking too much about certain movies because I say one thing accidentally and it might spoil something major.
It's also realistic in a sense with if a superpowered person actually punches someone,
Mhm.
you wouldn't just send them flying. You'd break
No,
teeth and everything, and this showcases that.
might like
So
crush ribs and things like that. You might like you could like literally could kill someone with one punch if you're
yeah,
a super powered human.
yeah,
So
exactly. And this movie doesn't shy away from that, and it's almost a little bit like almost like a little Bogart movie as well, isn't it? With especially Rorschach's story because he's
a little
going
bit,
on,
yeah, yeah.
he's doing his little Rorschach's journal thing, and it really sounds like an old private detective, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, like like you're talking about like Humphrey Bogart, it's like Sam Spade and things like that.
Yeah,
Like the old films that like where it's how is it? Why?
but there's like a
Like,
voiceover,
the characters of Philip
going right.
Marlowe, and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Golden Fox says it's a huge noir element to Watchmen, and yeah, he's right. That's what I'm getting at. But I can't talk too much about it though, because I'll
Yeah.
spoil. But
Pretty much.
this is an awesome movie. Simple as that.
Mhm. Yeah.
3 hours long though.
So doesn't quite feel like 3 hours, but it's definitely a movie where you have to set aside time to
Yeah,
watch it.
which makes me not rewatch it often.
Yeah.
Every few years or something, I'll watch it. But
Mm-hmm. Yep, one of the early cases for extended version being the best. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my number 5, I'm sure most of you have seen. It's the first of 2 movies where it's a comedic take on a zombie apocalypse, and that is Zombieland.
oh, didn't make my list, but it's one of the few zombie movies I like.
It's one of those where it's like it's because it's really rewatchable for me. I had to put it on the list, and I did. The second one was like a major step down in my opinion. So I think you only need to watch the first one. And I like the fact that you don't know these characters' real names. Like they only go off of like cities names basically. So you have Woody Harrelson who goes by the name of Tallahassee, Jesse Eisenberg who goes by the name of Columbus, and then the 2 sisters, one played by Emma Stone and the other played by Abigail Breslin. Stone's character is called Wichita, and Breslin's character is called Little Rock, basically. And starts out with Eisenberg's character, and he's the one pretty much narrating this movie. He has these rules that he establishes to help survive a zombie apocalypse, basically, like staying fit, double tap, and things like that. I remember when the movie came out, so it's like, make sure you double tap, and things like that, basically. And he's taking a journey cross country because he's trying. He wants to find somewhere basically safe to live, encounters Tallahassee, and basically they join up. I love Woody Harrelson's character is the best part of Zombieland.
Oh, second best. The best part is the bimbo.
No, that's the second one.
Was it?
What bimbo are you talking about?
The one who had asthma. And
Yeah, the second one.
Oh shit, I thought that was in the first one.
No, that's the second one.
Yeah, well, anyway, she was awesome.
Yeah, she was the only good part of the second one outside of Woody Harrelson, basically. That's why I said the second one's pretty much a major step down. But so no, that was the second one. The first one is basically primarily focuses on these 4 characters: Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock. Wichita and Little Rock, they're like, those sisters are pretty much con artists, and they get under the skin of Woody Harrelson's character. Like I said, Woody Harrelson in the first one is the best part of the movie. Like the other actors are good in their roles. It's just Woody Harrelson steals the show.
Yeah, the one I don't like is Eisenberg. I never liked that actor.
I think he works in this case because he's the opposite of Woody Harrelson's character, so it just makes it kind of like an odd couple team up
Yeah,
in a zombie apocalypse with a comedic take. I think it works. I mean, like he plays the same character in other roles, which is why he doesn't work as an actor. But in this case, I think it does work because of the fact that, like, like he is the opposite of Woody Harrelson's character. Woody Harrelson's character, he does not give a shit. He literally goes into a supermarket and starts playing the opening notes of Dueling Banjos to see if there's zombies in the supermarket. And he uses a banjo to kill them. So it's like he does not give a shit. Like he is like where Jesse Eisenberg's character is like very soft spoken. Woody Harrelson's characters, he's loud and things like that. But it works in my opinion. I think it works in that regard because of the odd couple atmosphere with those characters. Let's see. Yeah, so basically, like the premise of the movie pretty much is like they're trying to find they're journeying across country because they're trying to find just a sanctuary of sorts, somewhere safe to live, where it's like where the virus has not touched, where they'll be safe from zombies and things like that. And one of Tallahassee's, Woody Harrelson's characters, one of his ultimate goals in this movie is he wants to find a Hostess Snowball. Or he wants to find a Twinkie. He wants to find a Twinkie. And every time he comes across a Hostess Treats, it's something else. Like they find an overturned or like a crashed Hostess truck in one scene, and it's nothing but Hostess Snowballs. I don't know if you would get that, Stig. It's like it's a dessert here. It's no
clue what it is.
Packaged dessert. You have Twinkies, you have cupcakes, you have ho-hos. You just need to kind of look at. If you look it up, you'll get an idea of what they are basically. But they're kind of like confectionery treats in packaged.
Yeah,
boxes outside of the bakery.
Yeah, we have something like it, but not.
Yeah, but that he wants to find. All he wants is a Twinkie. That's all he wants. He just wants a Twinkie, and they actually had to make a vegan Twinkie for the movie because I don't know if Woody Harrelson's changed since then, but at the time he was a vegan. So because it's a treat, it's made with dairy products, so it's like they had to make a vegan version for the movie of a Twinkie. For him to so when he eats it, that's a vegan version. But that's the premise of Zombieland. Well, the lore with Twinkies is that they have a long ass shelf life. That's the lore with Twinkies, basically. So it's like, or something, and because they have a long shelf life, that they were scarce. They're scarce in this movie or something because people it's one thing that people could eat and wouldn't expire that soon. Anyway, but that's a joke essentially. But number 5 is Zombieland. So if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth a watch. At least the first one. The only good things about the second movie are the bimbo, as Stig calls her. She was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And Woody Harrelson's character. Pretty much the only good parts of the second movie. Overall, plot-wise, did not enjoy it as much as the first one. I would basically just watch the first one and just stop. In my opinion. Anyway, my number 4, I'm not going to talk a lot about this because we talked quite a bit earlier, and that is Fanboys. Basically, if you're just joining in and you don't know the premise of that movie, these 4 guy friends and a female friend. She joins later on in the trip. We did not mention her, but these 4 guys start out on a basically cross-country quest to get to Skywalker Ranch, break into said Skywalker Ranch, and steal a copy of Phantom Menace. Because one of them, it does not have much longer on this Earth, basically the premise of the movie, and so they want to steal it so that way he has a chance to watch it before he dies. And it's, I think, a charming comedy. All right, it does nostalgia well. It has it has these moments where it's like if you were Star Wars fans or still like actual Star Wars fans, it will hit you in the feels basically. Because you have to hear the cameos from Carrie Fisher, Ray Park, Billy D. Williams, and so forth. Even a cameo from William Shatner, who's, I think, like his cameo appearance was actually memorable and very funny, especially when he says it's like tell George that we're square or we're even kind of a thing, and so forth. And you have, I'm not a fan of Seth Rogen. Like those are more or less small cameo roles, basically, not necessarily star-studded, but cameo roles because it focuses on these 4 guys and their trip. A lot of Star Wars references, particularly to the original trilogy, because this is set prior to the release of Phantom Menace. If he in one of the few movies I can tolerate Seth Rogen in, he plays both a Trekkie and a Star Wars fan, a very redneck Star Wars fan, but funny. And it's basically again it's a comedy, so it's it's you would think would be a straight shot cross country quest, and mayhem ensues basically on their journey to get to Skywalker Ranch, and when they do get there. I don't know if they actually filmed in Skywalker Ranch or if they were allowed to maybe take pictures and do a set. But there are some things in there that I'm like, that's actually really cool. And so forth. That's Danny McBride has a small role at the end of the movie, and Craig Robinson. They're actually pretty funny in their small roles, basically. And so forth. It's also bittersweet, because of the drift, basically the drifting away that happened between 2 of the friends. So it's kind of like a reunion, bittersweet reunion, rekindling a friendship, basically, which is what I love about this movie. And it's not heavy-handed at all. Whatever references there are to Star Wars does not feel heavy-handed. It's more or less like positively remembering this instance from one of the Star Wars movies, and so forth. Anyway, I hated J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. I'm not even a big Star Trek fan, and I was like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, it actually came off more as a Star Wars movie. Yeah.
It was basically a way for Jar Jar Abrams basically to create studio fiction of Star Trek. And I was like, I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan by far, but even I know the backgrounds of these characters, and I'm like, what the it was just an excuse for Jar Jar Abrams to monkey around and create his little fiction in this universe.
Yeah, and
that's not Star Trek.
I'm a Star Trek normie, but isn't most of the point of Star Trek is that they solve things without action scenes?
Yeah.
People coming together and whatever, right? Instead of just going full-blown space Rambo.
Yeah. Pretty much. The acting was fine in the movie. The Carl Urban as Dr. McCoy was actually, I think he stole the show.
Yeah.
But the actors they got to play the roles, they were good. They just weren't the characters I knew. They kind of turned Uhura into a bitch in some instances. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do to her character? Anyway, that's my rant about the 2009 Star Trek movie. I'm like, this is not Star Trek. Even I'm saying that, and I'm one of the biggest normies there is. Yeah. Anyway, my number 4 is Fanboys. That's it. Moving on. Number 4.
I'm supposed to do 4 and 3.
Yeah.
My number 4 is now an international cult classic. It's a Norwegian zombie movie called Dead Snow.
I've yet to be able to watch that. I know the movie. The movie.
I know Trey loved it, and he also loved the sequel. Basically, uh, a group of friends heads up into the mountain for, I think it's like an Easter vacation or something. We're gonna go skiing and stuff and stay at a
Well, you'll find
cabin.
out Golden Fox.
And and like a local weirdo traveler shows up and tells them the story about how during World War II there were really evil Nazis in the area, and
Mhm.
they got killed up in the mountains by the locals finally, and they had taken treasures and stuff from the local population, and yeah, Nazi zombies start showing up around the cabin. So it's kind of like
No,
Evil
sorry.
Dead with
Yeah.
Evil Dead with Nazi zombies,
Mhm.
and it also has a lot of the same humor from Evil Dead 2 is in it.
Mhm.
The morbid humors.
Yeah.
Like the eye
Dark
popping. Into
like dark
chest.
comedy kind of a thing.
Yeah, with a hint of slapstick.
Mhm.
I mean, one guy grabs, yanks up the guts of a zombie and throws himself off a cliff, hanging from the guts, like Indiana Jones, right? Stuff like that. But it's really well made,
Mhm.
damn well made for a zombie movie. And like I said, the sequel is maybe even better. But yeah, Dead Snow. It is an Easter movie, so now is a good time to watch it.
Well, I'm just like because just the fact that you brought up Lord of the Rings and the fact that you brought up Easter movie. If you think about it, Lord of the Rings is both a Christmas movie and an Easter movie.
Kind of.
Because the Fellowship leaves Rivendell on Christmas. All right, so technically Christmas movie, and the ring is destroyed Easter.
Yeah, but it also takes place way before Christmas and Easter was a thing.
I'm just saying, I'm like technically, if you technically, it's like timeline wise, Christmas happens and Easter happens.
Yeah.
Because of how Tolkien set up the timeline for the events, so major occurrences, clearly those two happened on major Christian holidays, Christmas and Easter. Anyway, your number
3.
3? Yeah.
My number 3 is Inglorious Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I've seen that. I've seen it. I thought it was decent.
Yeah, it's really well written, to be honest. It's an alternate history thing in World War II. They want to kill Hitler while he's watching a movie at a cinema.
I know it's not literal 1-to-1. I'm saying that's how Tolkien set it up. Go on.
Yeah. Anyway, this movie has probably the most tense intro scenes I've ever seen in a movie, and it's all dialogue. With Christoph Waltz, who does a 10 out of 10 in this. He plays...
he's the best part in that movie. That's one thing I would give it, that he's the best part.
Yeah. He's basically hunting Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And Waltz said, okay, so the people would think of this character as a monster and would assume he would be played as a monster. But he's like, no, he's an investigator, going to play him like Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Which... boy, did it work, right? It actually makes him even more intimidating and creepy. So he's basically a master detective working for the wrong side and being very effective at it.
Yeah.
But
and I find it also ironic that he goes from playing a despicable character in this movie to playing a good character in Django Unchained.
Yeah, and he does both of them tremendously well.
Yeah.
It's probably he won an Oscar for both, didn't he?
I believe so. At least in Glorious Bastards, because of how well he did. I can't remember Django Unchained, but it's the same actor. One you hate, one you love.
Yeah.
So,
arguably one of the best antagonists in cinema history, if you think about it, because he's so well written. He's not flashy or anything. It's just his presence.
Yeah.
It's just naturally intimidating. But great cast. You have Brad Pitt playing
Yep.
one of the leads. You have the Diane Kruger is in it.
Mhm. Yep.
Fassbender is in it because he speaks German. 'Cause
Yeah.
Tarantino actually cast German actors and people who could speak German for those roles. So,
Mhm.
and I think it was Diane Kruger who said Tarantino had written a 300-page prequel to her character.
Damn.
So he had gone
Okay.
all out on
Yeah.
all of it. It was, she said, it was, she'd never been involved with anything that elaborate. But
Yeah, Pitt did Fury. Yeah, he was in that as well. So
oh yeah, Fury is awesome. Basically, Saving Private Ryan with a tank,
yeah,
in a way.
pretty much.
But anyway, Inglorious Bastard. If someone hasn't seen this, this is a must-watch.
Yeah,
You know,
it's like it's revisionist history. So
Yeah.
like don't watch it from any historical perspective. It's entirely what if this happened?
yeah, and Tarantino tends to do a lot of movies that are inspired by 70s movies.
Mm-hmm.
And you had quite a few of these revisionist movies in the 70s.
Yeah.
You also had a bunch of westerns. He did 2 of those. You had the star of the Kung Fu Ninja movie, martial arts craze.
Mhm. Yeah.
So Kill Bill, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Football
they
is
had to
like
do
heavily
this.
inspired by those. So
Yeah. Basically, he's remaking movies or the type of movies he grew up with.
pretty much. Yeah. That was your number 3.
Yep.
My number 3 is a sequel that you thought was my number 1, but there's 2 more that I would put ahead of it. And my number 3 is Boondock Saints 2: All Saints Day. The first one is better. I think the second one is a step down, but I feel like I'm very much still entertained by the second one. And since if you have not seen either of the movies, basically, the first one follows these 2 brothers who I make them sound like religious nutcases when I say this, basically, but because they survive an event that should have killed them, they think they're kind of given that God has given them permission to kill bad guys.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty much the second one.
Which is a bit of a nutcase thing to think.
It is a bit of a nutcase thing, but it works basically.
Yeah.
Yes, it works. So it's and they're just going after bad guys. It's not like they're judge, jury, and executioner. So if they deem you morally bankrupt, basically, that they're going to kill you. They're going after like mafia guys, PDFs, rapists, and things like that. Actually, generally bad guys. All right, like those that sell drugs to kids on the streets, actual bad guys. Because they as warped as their moral compass is, it is at least pointing in that direction of like we're going after actual bad guys. And then the second one picks up where the first one leaves off, basically. And I'm going to kind of spoil a little bit. I can't say this without spoiling an aspect of the movie that kind of gets revealed in the first movie, basically. All right, I'm not going to say anything because you haven't seen these movies. I don't want to spoil anything. But basically, the second one picks up years later after the events of the first one. Basically, the brothers have kind of absconded. They're done. They're done. They're living a peaceful life, not necessarily kind of in hiding, but they're living away from everything. They've stopped and so forth. And a certain event happens that draws them back in, forces them to kind of come out of retirement and kind of come back as the Boondock Saints as they were called in the first movie, or the Saints as they were called in the first movie. Like I said, I don't want to say too much because there's a reveal in the first movie, which in a sense ties into the focus of the second movie. And if I reveal the focus of the second movie, it's going to reveal the twist in the first movie. So if you haven't seen neither, I don't want to say too much of anything. I think plot-wise, it's a little bit of a step down. But I find it still very much entertaining. The three guys who played the cops in the first movie are back as their same characters and so forth, and they're trying to solve these crimes at the same time. They know the Saints, so it's one of those things where it's like they don't want to solve it too much because can't point the fingers at the people, the people, kind of the guys that they're protecting. What else? Yeah, I can't say too much really, because it kind of spoils the twist of the first movie. I shouldn't say twist. I mean, like a reveal in a sense in the first movie. So if I say anything, it's going to spoil that. So if you've not seen if you've seen the first one, all right, you kind of know what reveal I'm talking about, which means you kind of figure out why I can't say too much of anything for the second movie if no one has seen it. If you haven't seen either, watch them.
Yeah, definitely watch them.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. And what's the I can't. What's his name? Oh, Clifton Collins Jr. He's pretty much the comic relief in this, without being over the top. There is, I don't want to say funny moments, but there is within the dialogue, funny moments. He kind of provides the levity, in a sense, in this movie, with like I said, but it doesn't feel heavy-handed in my opinion. Basically, it's like with certain running jokes and so forth. Between him and the two brothers, he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's a good guy because he kind of, he's tags along with the brothers. Like I said, it's like he kind of takes over for another character's role from the first movie. Again, don't want to say why.
And Dexter's wife is in it, right? From the Dexter show.
I never watched the Dexter show, but I'm assuming you're talking about the actress who plays Eunice Bloom.
Yeah.
The FBI, basically the FBI agent.
Yeah, she was in a lot of stuff at that time.
Yeah. Julie Benz.
Yeah.
So she's in it, basically. I don't want to say why she's in it because it kind of ties into a character from the first movie. So it's like I don't want to say too much. It's one of those movies where it's like the plot is simple, but if you haven't seen the first one, I'll be spoiling major shit talking about the second one.
Yeah.
So Boondock Saints 2 is my number 3. Had to include it. I love the first movie, and I very much still enjoy the second one. Even though I think it's a step down from the first one, I think it's rewatchable. I enjoy it. We do not need a Boondock Saints 3. As far as I know, it's still in the process of being made. I'm just wondering, it's been so long.
Yeah.
Since 2?
However, I wouldn't say no to it if it happens. I'll watch it.
Since the original director and writer is tied to it, I do at least have a little bit of hope for it. But at the same time, it's like, again, this movie had, basically the official release in 2009. We're coming up on 17 years.
Yeah, and 2 actually sets up a sequel, but it sets up a sequel that should have happened shortly after.
Yes. So I'm like, how are they going to pull this off, basically?
Yeah.
It's like pushing it enough, at least from the time when the first movie dropped to the second movie, but at least they had a plausible explanation for the time period because of what the two brothers do. All right, basically. But the way the second movie ends, it kind of it really needed to happen within 2 years for it to be remotely plausible. So I think it's going to be live. As far as I know, it's going to be live action. I've never seen anything that's going to be animated. Animated would work better because then you can set it immediately after the events of the second one and have Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery and so forth come back to voice the characters they played in live action. But as far as I know, it's going to be a live action film. How they pull it off, I don't know. Anyway, that's my number 3.
Flannery is looking a bit weird now. He looks like
I think he has some work done.
Yeah, he looks a bit
He had
plastic.
some work done, so he definitely does not look like even in the second one, he did not look like he did in the first one.
Yeah.
But he definitely has, you can tell he's had some work done.
Yeah, and maybe not good work.
Anyway, so I'm going to say my number 2. And it's an animated movie. It's one of the Pixar movies I absolutely love. I'm going to say 3 words. Most likely you all in the chat will know what movie I'm talking about. Adventure is out. 4 words. Adventure is out there. Yep, Up, Golden Fox. Up. Adventure is out there. The movie starts out basically with arguably the main character as a kid meeting a girl who would become his future wife, basically. And I love how it sets that up with the two as kids, how they are in a sense alike when it comes to like wanting adventure and so forth. They idolize this adventurer. They watch the reels in the theater and so forth, and basically grow up, marry each other. And one of the most moving openings in any film in general, not just a Pixar film, but just in general, it's a montage. There's no dialogue. It's music and so forth. And you're watching these two characters as they progress in their lives, and it just hits you in the feels with no words. Pretty much, you don't hear any dialogue. Again, you're just watching the montage. Music's playing. It makes you smile and it makes you cry. Basically, and it's one of the best openings in general for films. Basically, but the primary focus is Carl, voiced by Ed Asner, and he's refusing to move from his house. You have the instance where these developers want to build these high-rise whatever buildings around where his property stands, and he's the last holdout. He's refusing to move. He doesn't want he has his reasons, and they are legitimate reasons in my opinion. Something happens where it's going to force him to actually leave his house, which he doesn't want to do. And so he decides, you know what, I'm going to basically take my house with me. Hence the title, Up. Basically, he his job, if you from the montage, is that he sells balloons at this zoo that he and his wife work at. So he inflates all the balloons he has in his house, suspend disbelief, to basically take his house with him. It's I'll move, but I'm taking my house with me. So I'm not going into this retirement home or community. I'm going to go, he wants to go where he and his wife planned to go, but didn't have a chance to go, essentially. And he starts out as very crotchety, very standoffish, and so forth. He's not a mean man, but at the same time, it's he's very much I wouldn't call him an extrovert. So my favorites were, I did like the kid character. I liked his dynamic with Carl. Kid character's name is Russell. I think very much worked. But my favorite parts were the talking dogs. Particularly Doug. It very much captured certain breeds of dogs' mentalities. Tragically, it happens, Golden Fox. So it's it's tragically it happens. That's why they basically touched on it in this. I think particularly why they touched on it in this film is it happens. My grandparents, they weren't forced out of their house, necessarily forced to. They were forced in a way to move out of their house because it wasn't the best place for them to live, given my grandmother's health issues at the time. So that's really what, like, it's like my dad and his like siblings convinced them to go into a retirement home. That way they could be like my grandma could be properly taken care of because of all the medications she was on and so forth. So, but there are instances where like they're just forced out because, well, your house is where we want to build this high-rise apartment or this duplex and things like that. So it sucks, and that's what they touch on at the beginning of this movie. But it's very much like, in a sense, also a love letter to, like, if you watch like 1930s reels, like if you watch classic films, basically, like you have these, or like anything about theater history, you know that prior to the movie itself, where we have trailers now, they would actually show newsreels prior to the film starting. And it's kind of like a love letter to that aspect of like, these like adventurers and so forth, going like into these jungles or and so forth, like, find this new species or whatever. So, have you seen Up, Stieg?
No.
Okay, watch it.
Yeah. I will watch it because eventually I'm gonna do like a little pickup binge on animated stuff I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I'll definitely get it done then.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying give it at least one watch. I believe it's one of Pixar's best films. And it's, like I said, it's when movies were still had universal messages where like it did not feel heavy-handed. There's commentary in it. There's universal messages, but it doesn't feel like it's beating you over the head with it. Yeah. And there's growth, especially in the character of Carl. You wouldn't think there would be growth because of how old the character starts out, at least when the plot happens. But it works. It's just, yeah, like Trey says, it's just a good movie in general, in my opinion. But yeah, number 2, Up.
Yep. So I'm gonna do my number 2 and number 1.
Yep.
My number 2 already spoiled it. It's the Friday the 13th remake, which is more of a reimagining rather than a remake, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely reimagining, but works better as a reimagining, like I said, because, well, it doesn't really become Friday the 13th until the second one of the original movies.
Yeah, and this one seems to borrow from the second and third movie.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, the finale at the barn and all that.
Yeah. You there? Am I coming through, chat? Because I'm not hearing Stieg.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
No, I don't know.
I'm not saying it was you. I'm saying like you were like, for all I know, you were talking, but I could not hear anything. Okay, people were saying they couldn't hear you, but now we hear you.
Okay. So. Well, like I said, great cast in this. Actually, everyone does their job well. A lot of the characters are stereotypes from slashers.
Well, slashers generally were stereotypes of characters, though. It's not like they were real, like they were in-depth characters.
Yeah, I watched it again today before the stream to see if it was as good as I remembered, and the one guy that stands out to me was the guy who plays Trent, was a blonde douche.
Yeah,
that actor does a 10 out of 10 in that role.
Yeah,
every line he utters is he's just a piece of shit frat douche.
Yeah.
And hell, he's even named Trent.
I know.
Right? And here's a funny thing. I recognized him and I figured this guy has played a douche before. So I looked on IMDb. He plays a douche in Transformers 1, also named Trent.
Oh, yeah, he was in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is amazing at this, and the
Yeah.
actor is his name is Travis Van Winkle. He even sounds like a douche in real life, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably one of the nicest guys you can meet in real life, but
Yeah,
like he plays
probably.
a douche very well.
Yeah, he has he just has that certain look
Yeah.
and superb character. That one.
I say like
And
what I'll give like one, the Friday the 13th reimagining is much better than the Nightmare on Elm Street one.
oh hell yes.
The best one is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, but I will give credit to the actors in the Friday the 13th reimagining. They don't phone it in.
Yeah, and actually, it's the same director as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Yeah.
But I've seen people make this complaint, and I agree 50%. Jason is behaving a bit more like Leatherface rather than Jason, because he has a lair and he kidnaps people and stuff. You know, which
I mean, like I can buy that because where like what is Jason going to live outside? I'm like
no,
where-
he would live somewhere, but he wouldn't keep prisoners.
that I kind of agree with.
Yeah,
That aspect. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I'm saying like it's like I wouldn't say even Leatherface didn't exactly have necessarily a lair. It's more like just the basement. It's a lair atmosphere,
yeah.
but he doesn't work in the basement of the family home.
He also Jason also has 13 kills in this.
Mm-hmm.
I counted, so
Yep.
probably on purpose. Some really fun ones. I mean, one was half, only her head is above the water, and she
Yeah.
gets stabbed in the head and lifted up, so the boobs are right in the camera.
Yeah, I know. Oh, they definitely did that on purpose. So
Yeah, and a horrific one with a chick getting stuck inside a sleeping bag and
oh, yeah, like
sealed
set on
in it.
like basically set on fire. I couldn't
Yeah.
laugh but it's very
Well,
creative.
you should, because it's dark humor, isn't it?
I know it's like it's a very creative kill.
Yeah, she's just dangling above the the fire
Yeah,
pit being barbecued.
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, so the kills in this are awesome. There's quite a bit of humor
Mm-hmm.
as well, not with Jason, but with the other characters. And I thought it was. I'll give this an 8 out of 10. I think it's better than actually all of the originals, if you ask me. Because yes, the originals are fun and we have good memories of them, but were they good? Were they well written? No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
At least in this one, the characters have even more of a personality, even though it's a stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Soul Assassin, this was not Kane Hodder's Jason.
Yeah,
It
another
was
actor played Jason, I believe, in this one.
Derek Mears,
Yeah.
a big guy. This is probably the most intimidating Jason,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. He looks like a beast in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jason's supposed to be like a beast. He's a lumbering beast, but like size wise, like if he's standing in front of you, he's a beast.
Yeah, and he is quick in this one too.
Yeah, I think that's another issue that people had was like how quick Jason was, which I didn't mind. I didn't exactly mind that.
No, because this is not like zombie supernatural Jason.
Yeah,
it's just big, and he would be incredibly fit and fast, having just grown up where he's grown up.
Yeah.
So,
didn't
yeah.
that aspect didn't bother me. Like people were like, Jason doesn't run. I'm like, well, who cares? It's not like it destroys the lore in a sense.
Well, Jason does run in the second and third movie.
I know, but people who like who are like it's like like purists basically Friday the 13th purists. I'm like okay.
Yeah. Michael Myers should not run.
No, he definitely should not run.
And
like he literally is the stalking boogeyman.
Same with Pinhead. Pinhead should just stride
and just appear.
Yeah.
Like no matter where you are, Pinhead is going to appear. That's why I put Pinhead in my number one. Because when he shows up and the other Cenobites, like you're fucked.
Yeah. And he doesn't sneak around, he fucking announces himself.
Yeah.
So
like yeah.
if he shows up, you're dead, period.
Pretty much. Like the only reason Kirsty survived the first one, which makes sense, is because hey, I know something that you want.
Yeah.
So
but then he gets her later, doesn't he? I think he gets her in a later movie. She's just in it a little bit.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think you're talking about the 6th movie, and that's a yes and no kind of a thing. It's one of those where it's like I can't say too much without like going into the plot.
Yeah,
because the 5th one was the detective. Yes, it had to be the 6th one. So that's it. Yeah, yes and no.
Yeah, but anyway, Friday the 13th remake is my number 2, and yeah, it's awesome.
Oh yeah, I might rewatch it at some point. All right, your number 1.
Well, my number 1 is one of those that it's either 2009 or 2010, depending on you see it. But this was released in festivals and in France officially in 2009. So I'm going to count it as 2009 because it was also aired in cinemas in 2009, right? And it's Solomon Kane.
Let me see when it was. Because I know I didn't see it on the 2009 list, so I want to see if it's comes up on the 2010 list. It might have officially been released here in the States in 2010.
No, way later than because.
Well, what I'm saying is, I know it's like 2000, not 2009. So
yeah, because here's the thing: it flopped because they didn't get to release it in the U.S. It was a distribution thing. So
okay,
it just
someone had the DVD, and I know I'd purchased it from someone.
Yeah, they basically it flopped because they didn't get the U.S. audience. But this is written originally by Robert E. Howard, who created Conan. Kind of started fantasy before Tolkien, in a way, even though this is technically sword and sorcery. But he did, a prehistoric, world, our world, because he wanted the, a mythological version of it, same as Tolkien. Tolkien fleshed his out way more.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Yeah. But a crazy guy in Texas had technically done it first. But Solomon Kane is less known than Conan. Solomon Kane is a Puritan who is fighting evil in the 1600s, I think, in England. And actually just got a novel, the first full-blown novel, because Howard mostly wrote short stories. But this is a Solomon Kane Begins kind of thing, and all they had to go on was a poem of Solomon Kane's background, because Howard never fleshed him out much. It's starring James Purefoy, who nails it. He does a 10 out of 10 personification of Solomon Kane. He does everything right. It's got the Borg Queen from Star Trek is in it, and Pete Postlethwaite, who plays the dinosaur hunter in Jurassic Park 2, who's an excellent actor. Maximum Sidov is in it. A couple of Game of Thrones actors. This is like gritty, this witchcraft and devilry everywhere. And Solomon Kane is basically used to be a pirate and a mercenary, and the Grim Reaper comes for him to claim his soul, saying that, a deal has been made. I'm here to cash in. And Kane has never made a deal. So he barely escapes and hides in a convent and has, sworn off violence and everything. And something happens and it's the most awesome scene in it. Something makes him go back to using his fighting skills to fight evil, and he's a badass, definitely a badass. Great soundtrack, everything was done well with this. It was taken, great care with sticking to the source material as best they could, what little they had of it. And it was going to be a trilogy, but they lost the US market. Someone fucked up. And if you lose that big of an audience, you're not going to make a lot of money. But the part two was going to take place in Africa, which is like, a fantasy movie set in Africa, which is what Hollywood wants, right? So,
Yeah.
but this is like he's using a rapier and is using pistols. So, and the Van Helsing movie stole Solomon Kane's look.
That I know.
Yeah, they ripped it off, which is fine. It works there too, but this is this is classic sword and sorcery done right, and it's Solomon Kane was created, I believe, in the 1920s. Was published in the 30s. A lot of Howard's stuff was published after he died. So he had an insane output for a few years when he was writing, and he died at 30. So it's weird to think, with that much of an output per year, if he had lived to be 60 or 70, what would his career look like?
Yeah.
But this is awesome. It's kind of it's a pulp movie. I'd say that this goes well with The Rocketeer, Flash Gordon, The Phantom. But this is R-rated though. But it's still same genre.
All right. I know I've seen it, but I have to rewatch it basically. But my number one is, more an anthology style of film set on Halloween. I don't know how many of you have seen this movie. I remember going into it with or at least watching it with zero expectations and coming out very much enjoying it as very unnerving character in the character of Sam. And if you know what I'm talking about, yes, Anthony and Trey's Trick or Treat. Has Anna Paquin is in it. It's an anthology. Is it Brian Keith? He's in it and so forth. And it's set on Halloween night. No, I think I had to narrow it down from 57 movies.
Yeah, I almost had Sherlock Holmes. Yeah. No, it was on my list for a bit, but then I rewatched Ninja Assassin. And I'm like, I'm gonna go with this one.
Yeah, so it's one of those
Sherlock Holmes is brilliant though.
Yeah, nearly 60 movies trying to narrow it down to 10.
Yeah.
But it's Trick or Treat. It's set on Halloween night, hence the title. Brian Cox, thank you. Like I said the wrong name, Brian Cox. Set on Halloween night, and basically focuses on different characters, these stories, these seemingly separate stories, but in a way they are all connected. And it kind of does a loop in the storytelling. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, basically. It, in a sense, comes full circle, and like I said, you watch it, you understand what I'm talking about. But you see one instance, one story in this shown within this plot. This film's plot is this killer who dresses as a vampire, and he goes out and kind of stalks women Halloween night. These kids gathering basically jack-o'-lanterns because they're going to kind of try to they're go to this place where like these kids died years prior in a school bus quote unquote accident. I'm going to say quote unquote accident. Well, Sam is like, yeah, essentially what connects them, but there's also elements that kind of connect them as well outside of Sam. I can't say too much if you have not seen the movie. But like, you know, instances within the story where it's like the one character is interacting with another character, and like you know, like you see that character in another instance for like another kind of story. I say story. They're not separate stories, but they're separate instances that happen on this night, in this other separate instance. Then this character kind of like in a way interacts with this other character that also interacted with this other character, in a sense. I can't say anything again because if you have not seen the movie, I don't want to spoil anything.
It's a superb Halloween movie, though.
Yes, it is a very superb Halloween movie. Sam, like, you do see what the character Sam looks like, but even without seeing what he looks like, he's a very unnerving character. It's kind of like one of those. It's childlike, but it's unnerving. I can't say too much about it. Like, you see the thumbnail, Sam is on the left. All right, that's Sam. That's the character from Halloween. Doesn't say anything. But there's a point to his character in this movie. Still unnerving. And I had to include it. I had to include it as my number one because I watch it definitely around like every Halloween, even outside of Halloween, because I think it's a very well done anthology of sorts Halloween movie. It demonstrated that you can do a film showing different instances that happen on Halloween night and still flow seamlessly. So, and Sam is one of the things that connects it, but at the same time, if you were to actually pay attention to certain elements of the plot, there's other connections that that happen in character interactions. And that's it. It's a scary movie. Well, I say scary. I have a high threshold for when it comes to that genre, which is why when my nerdy home asks me, "Is it scary?" I tell her, "Don't ask me. Your threshold is a lot lower than mine when it comes to being scared or not." But it's one of those where it's like scary, but also kind in a sense, but like dark humor mixed in with it, which makes it also work. One little part I'm not a fan of, but you don't see it happen, so I can kind of overlook it. Yeah, that's it. Trick or Treat. I had to make it my number one because it's one of my favorite. Like, since watching it for the first time, it's become one of my favorite movies to watch around Halloween. It's basically one of my favorite scary movies in a sense to watch in general. There is some gore, but it's a bit more gore than psychological. There's a little bit of psychological in it, but it's more of like the kind of like homage to the more slasher type films in a sense. Particularly with the Sam character in that genre. So that's it. That's my number one, Trick or Treat. So yeah. So normally we go down our 10 list, but I'm exhausted.
Lots of horror from both of us today.
It was a good year for horror reimaginings in a sense, and new movies. It was a decent year.
Very campy year.
Yeah. But still fun campy stuff to watch, basically. Still worked. Like My Bloody Valentine was on my list, Trey, the remake, which this might be a hot take. I think is better than the original. Avatar is one of the most overrated movies I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah. it's really well made, and I thought Stephen Lang is really good in it. But then uh, I just rewatched 1 and 2 because I watched number 3 because that one just came out. But yeah, it'll be a long time till I watch them again, right?
I watched the first one and I haven't bothered with the sequels. I walked out of the first movie going, that was a waste of fucking time. In my opinion. If you like it, fine. I didn't like it. And you weren't here, Trey, when I highlighted your first comment in regards to this. Run fast, run far. I will say, I said this at the beginning, I will say that Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's second Halloween movie, is marginally better than the first one. But I'm only going off of what I could fucking see. Most of the time, I couldn't tell what the fuck was happening on screen because it was so damn dark. I'm talking about lighting, not atmosphere, lighting. Like, you couldn't have better lighting in these shots? So it's like, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot better if I could see it. I did not like the first one, particularly because I don't like, Michael Myers does not need a backstory, does not need an explanation for why he is the way he is, and I did not like the fact that Rob Zombie made the family white trash. Other than that, the kills were good. Characters were okay. It's a slasher movie. You're not supposed to really care about these characters that much. Malcolm McDowell, I believe, was in it. He was decent as the Loomis character. But arguably, like I said, I'd like to give a take on the second one, but I couldn't see a damn fucking thing in half the scenes. I think like marginally, the second one is marginally better than the first one just because it feels more like Michael Myers than the first one did. That's just my take on those two movies. Anyway. That's it. That is my opinion on the Rob Zombie Halloween films, at least. Yeah. And that is it. Our top 10 lists for 2000, personal list for 2009 films. Next month will be 2010.
You know what? We've just covered 3 decades, so this is a milestone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, it'll be like the first decade, pretty much, of the 2000s.
And in my opinion, the 2000s are better than the 80s because it has more great stuff than the 80s.
I'll give you that. There's nostalgia to the 80s, which I think doesn't trump, but like does elevate some movies for most people. But in terms of quality,
yeah, I mean,
2000s is better.
2000s, I mean, seriously, the Lord of the Rings, Gladiator, The Patriot, we got the Underworld movies, we got the Pirates of the Caribbean, all of these would have been hailed even more if they had come out in the 80s with, nostalgia lenses on it.
And
yes, Spider-Man, X-Men,
mm-hmm.
Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill, Watchmen, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be basically wrapping it up here. And yes, I will go into this in my outro. But yes, I'm going to be ranting on Sunday. Before I do my outro, Stieg, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Here in a month.
Roughly a month. We'll figure out the date because it's either the first or second Wednesdays, depending on how many Wednesdays there are in the month. Basically, I just did it this Wednesday primarily because I want to do gaming streams leading up to my birthday, and not a YouTube stream and then like a gaming stream and then my birthday stream.
Yeah.
Just my personal preference.
I just want to get them over with early. So
So typically it works out better for me the second Wednesday because I can plan more easily with around classes. But in this case, because there's 5 Wednesdays, I was like, you know what, let's have it now.
Yeah.
So that way, like, I can use the remaining Wednesdays to do gaming streams.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, okay, so Talk Nerdy. And when I'll be done with my classes officially in January. So next January I'll be officially done with the classes. But anyway.
Oh, I have a request, Mara.
Mm-hmm.
When you're gonna rant about the Lord of the Rings?
Which rants? I'm doing 2 rants on Sunday. Just in general, the rants? Okay.
Yeah, the one on Talk Nerdy or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'll be doing
stare hatefully at the camera and snap a pencil in half.
I'm not going to snap a pencil in half, but I will definitely, particularly when I talk about Jackie Boy. Oh, there's going to be hate in my eyes. There is going to be fucking hate.
The idiot doubled down.
Yes, he doubled down.
Why
on
not
the
just
fucking
say,
retardation?
sorry, I was wrong. You know?
Yeah. No.
They doubled down. Started attacking people. I mean, come on.
Oh, but the right's not woke. No, it's only the left. Anyway, yeah, he's a fucking... Anyway, I am going... So this Sunday, okay, so I'm not going to stream tomorrow evening, and the reason why, Chad, is because I have to get up on the early side the next day to go out and help my mom run errands. We're going to be picking up the lamb and other stuff for Easter lunch this weekend, because Sunday is Easter. And Sunday evening, Talk Nerdy to Us will be on my channel because it is the Talk Nerdy before my birthday, which is on the 10th. So a week from this Friday will be my birthday. So this coming Talk Nerdy, I will post cooked lamb pics. So when the lamb is done cooking, I will post pics of it so you can see what it looks like.
Will you be smiling sheepishly?
Oh, shut up.
While you lambast the dinner.
Oh my god. Shut up. Anyway. Yes, 11:48 p.m. That's my birthday time. I was told you don't officially turn you're 1 year older until you hit the time of your birth. And lucky me, that's 11:48 p.m. But anyway, this coming Sunday, Talk Nerdy to Us will be on my channel. I will remind Steph of it, even though I don't think I'll need to remind her necessarily. That's on my channel. I'll be finding other pop culture topics to discuss and so forth, but I will be ranting about 2 Lord of the Rings topics, even though it's not new news. It'll be technically old news by the time I talk about it, but I don't fucking care. I'll be ranting about the upcoming movie penned, quote unquote, by Stephen Colbert, which is okay. 3rd strike and you're out, Peter Jackson. Level of retardation and the idiocy, the retardation that is Jackie Boy. I'm gonna call him because I don't fucking care to pronounce his last name correctly. That's how much I hate the man right now.
Could you highlight Jody's dad joke comment?
Wait, what? Who's
Jody? Yeah, so he's saying
you're a fan. Bravo.
Nice dad jokes, he says. Well, what I say to that is apparently.
Oh my god. Anyway, but I'll be ranting about, like I said, the Colbert penned film, and Jackie Boy not only stating but doubling down on his position that Lord of the Rings is overtly pagan. He's like, it's not overtly Christian, it is overtly pagan. I will play devil's advocate right here, and I'll say this again on Sunday. All right? Yes, it's not overtly Christian because it's not a 1-to-1 ratio allegory, unlike the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis or anything like that. No. But it's fundamentally so, you fucking asshole.
It was fundamentally so in the revision, actually. I actually have a clip of Tolkien saying it.
So, but still, like,
His
you know,
own video.
yeah, but I'm saying, and he's written in letters stating that
Yep.
to people. All right. Now, while it's not a 1-to-1 ratio, like there's no actual church or anything like that, it is fundamentally Christian.
He actually had a go at C.S. Lewis for being overly allegorical and preachy.
Yeah, because Tolkien hated allegory. Like, he despised it. So if you were to say anything, like if you were to say Lord of the Rings is an allegory, he would excoriate you verbally.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people say the ring is allegory for the nuclear bomb. No,
No,
he
it's not.
came up with it before the nuclear bomb was even a thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he did. It just wasn't published until 54, 55. But he came up with it in The Hobbit in 1937. It became the One Ring when he was penning the sequel, the Lord of the Rings stories. But it was before the nuclear bomb.
You know what's actually even weirder, Soul Assassin, that the guy likes Game of Thrones. I'm not sure if it's the show or the books, but hates the Lord of the Rings or something. But here's the thing: Game of Thrones is also it's actually even has more biblical symbolisms than the Lord of the Rings, because it's based on the end of days stuff.
Yeah,
from the Bible and Ragnarok from Norse mythology. It's a mix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it even makes him dumber if he thinks, you know, Tolkien's all pagan and then he loves that, because Norse mythology would be pagan, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the King's Blood thing, basically the Targaryen storyline in the Game of Thrones books is inspired by the blood of King David, which Jesus had.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're going to have David, and then down the line, Jesus, who gets killed. Then you get the Antichrist, and then Jesus returns as a warrior somehow, right? And he's going to rain fire down on demons.
If you're referring to your attempt at an April Fool's thing, Miss Grimm, I did see it. I was just busy today. Yeah, I saw the joke.
So basically, Jon Snow is Lord Commander number 998. However, the Night King was stricken, so he's number 999. That's 666 inverted.
Oh,
and there's a sword called Lightbringer, which is a name for Lucifer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's full of it.
But anyway, basically, I was gonna say this when I highlighted this comments. Jackie Boys, he's, how would I describe it? Basically, he has he's so stupid he doesn't realize how stupid he is when it comes to his opinions. But what makes it worse is the level of arrogance he has. He has enough arrogance and ego to sound like he knows what he's talking about, but it masks the banality of his opinions. Like, they are so cliche and trite.
The Narnia books, which are definitely Christian,
yes,
have magic in them too.
Yes. And like, anyone can sound smart if you know how to use a thesaurus. Doesn't make you intelligent. There's a difference between smart and intelligent.
You just have to quote someone who said something smart about it. Yeah.
There's a difference between smart and intelligent. So yeah, Jackie Boy can try to sound smart in how he phrases his opinions, but he's not intelligent.
Nope. Because if you're intelligent, you also understand what you're saying.
Yes, and he doesn't.
Nope.
That's the difference. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be ranting about it this Sunday on Talk Nerdy / Easter / pre-birthday stream. Then Monday and Tuesday, no streams, obviously. Those days are my live lectures for my classes, so those are the evenings. It does not allow me to stream those days. And Wednesday and Thursday, I'll be doing gaming streams. I don't know what I'll be playing. I do eventually want to start Borderlands 2, but it gets so... With Easter coming up, and then my birthday week, schedule gets so constricted. I don't exactly want to start something that I'm going to stop necessarily. So I'll figure out what to play. But Friday, I'm going to try to stream this Friday. I'm going to definitely stream this Friday. I just don't know what I'm going to play. But a week from Friday, my birthday, I'm definitely going to be playing Halo Combat Evolved. That's my plan. I don't know when I'm going to start the stream, but I'm going to be hitting my birthday time at 11:48 p.m. So could be a fucking long stream. I don't know. We'll see. But that's my plan for my birthday, is to do a gaming stream playing Halo Combat Evolved from the Master Chief Collection. And hitting 11:48, at least hitting 11:48 p.m. I'll likely not stop at that point, depending on where I am in the game, but I'll at least be hitting the time I was born. So that's definitely planned for a week from Friday. I just don't know what I'll be playing up to that point. And then just to let you all know, the Thursday after my birthday, which would be the 16th, that's when I'm going to start the reading streams back up. I'm going to be reading Agatha Christie's Evil Under the Sun. It's going to take a while for me to get through the book because I'm going to read one chapter at a time, and it's only going to be one evening at a time. So that's going to take a little bit to get through. I was gifted, I don't see Mr. Tex in the chat, but I was gifted Dracula from my throne. So at some point I am going to read Dracula. And where's my better copy? Hold on. Oh, there it is. I'm going to be looking through this in my rant against Jackie Boy. But if you all ever want me to read the Silmarillion, I can do that. I warn you, it's a little dry the first quarter to a third. But it does dive into second age stories. Because you have Baron Luthien, Beleriand, talking about Iluvatar, the Valar, the coming of men, the Noldor. Noldor are elves, just so you know. The Sindarin elves, and so forth, the difference between them, the Silmarils. At some point, I will read this. I just wanted to take a break since so I'll show it on screen when I go do my rant on Sunday. Because I'm looking through this because there is a part in the Silmarillion that is not a 1-to-1 ratio, but reads like the War in Heaven a little bit. You can definitely see Christian inspiration in an overtly fucking pagan fantasy. Anyway, sorry, but I gotta save my rant for Sunday.
You know what? What else?
Yeah.
So what if something's pagan fantasy?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Right? It's so weird.
No, nothing wrong with it. It's just like, you know,
still,
like if it's nothing wrong with it if what he's talking about is actually pagan, but it's not.
Yeah.
So it's like nothing wrong with it.
And it's still a fantasy.
Yeah, that's the key word, fantasy. It's not supposed to be reality.
Nope.
And he uses he and the three guys use mythology. Well, at least the definition of mythology wrong, because when they mention mythology, the thing was to gravitate towards Greek mythology and gods and goddesses, and I'm like, no, it's not just that. What's
actually kind of paganish is Conan, because
Well,
it uses all kinds of ancient, obscure gods from history and stuff.
Yeah.
Conan usually kills them.
Pretty much. There are actually elves that are older than when the first age begins.
Yep.
Galadriel's one of them. She's older than the first age, and the second age, and the third age. Essentially, she was born before the first age officially begins.
She's the ultimate MILF.
Yeah, she is several thousand years old by the time you see her in the Lord of the Rings.
Soul Assassin is right. There are Lovecraftian gods in Conan. and definitely Lovecraftian elements, because Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard were uh, pen pals, exchanging ideas and all stuff. So they, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, but I'll be ranting that and talking about other things, but I definitely do want to give my opinion on those two Lord of the Rings topics that was going around on X. After that long ass outro, that's if I don't see you for a gaming stream, I'm planning on streaming Friday evening, maybe Saturday afternoon. But if you don't come into my chat for either of those streams, then I'll definitely see you on Sunday for Talk Nerdy to Us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Talk Nerdy / Easter / pre-birthday stream for me. So take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening wherever you are in the world, and we will see you all, well, for the top 10 next month, and I will see you Friday for a gaming stream and pretty much chill. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, and good night. Peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.